What's up, guys? It's Louis. And if you don't know who I am, we've been growing trading Discord since December, and we've generated close to $1 million in revenue uh, for our clients so far in the past 9 months. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you. Obviously, you guys know the main the main way you understand to make more money is get more customers. But there is another, maybe easier way that most people don't talk about to increase your revenue, and that is increasing your LTV. Now, if you don't know what LTV is, that's lifetime value. So what that means is when you get a customer, what are they worth across their entire lifespan of being a customer to you? So how many times do they buy from you? In this case, how many months do they stay subscribed on average? Now, basically what this means is your churn metric on the WOP dashboard, which is, I'll show you quickly. So let's use Dodgy as an example. So Dodgy right here, last 3 months, we're at 99K in the last 3 months. Let's go to last 4 weeks. So 99, we were just at 103 all-time highs. Now churn rate. So right now it's 23.6. So what that means is that every single month, 23.6% of Dodgy's customers leave. So we have to replace 23% of the customers every single month for MRR to break even. And we have to replace more than 23.6% of the customers for MRR to go up. Okay. Now, the lower your churn rate is, the more impactful getting more customers will be. So it will allow you to grow your MRR quicker. So I'm going to show you a few ways to keep this churn rate low and make sure that people are staying subscribed for a longer time so that you can make more money from each customer. Okay, now let's do the maths on this. So let's say you have 20% churn. The maths that you do is let me make this bigger. You do 1 divided by 20% as a decimal. So 1 divided by 0.2, I believe is the correct maths. 1 divided by 0.2 is 5, which gives you 5 months on average, 5 purchases on average. And at a price of $100, $100 times 5 months equals $500. So on average, each customer pays Dodgy about $500 across their lifespan. Now, let's say we got churn down to 0.15. So if we now do 1 divided by 0.15, this is going to be a really ugly number. I'm going to change this to 0.14 because I don't like to have that number on my screen. Gotta, follow the Lord in that. 0.14. So 7.14 months on average would give you $714 on average per customer across their lifespan at $100. Does that all make sense to everyone? So this is the lifetime value of an average customer with churn at 14%. Okay, now that's a very good number. So I'm going to teach you guys ways to get this LTV number up, because a lot of you watching this will probably have 25% monthly churn, maybe even 30%. And if you do, there's a lot of room for improvement. We actually had a client who had 80% monthly churn, and no amount of marketing can help that. Your problem is not marketing. And so we had that client have 80% monthly churn, and we said, look, there's nothing we can do for you anymore, and we parted ways. We don't take on clients who have products that people will cancel their membership to, because it's harder for us to have an impact with marketing, because you have to replace more customers every month. Okay, so this is going to make your job 10 times easier, having a high LTV, and really it's the only way to actually scale this and grow it and not just be burning through customers every single month. So the first way we can do this is onboarding. Now, you probably know what this means. This means basically when someone joins, what do you teach them and how do you teach them to use your product? So the way to do onboarding right is to survey the people who have stayed with your company for the longest time. So if we go to users here and we sort by total spend, you can see these people here on Dodgy's product. The highest total spend is $1,300. Now, these people here on this top page, maybe the top, you really want the top 2% of your customers, okay? So for Dodgy, 880 cost, 876. So what's 876 times 0.02? What we're going to do is we're going to find the top 18 customers and we're going to send them a Google form survey and maybe incentivize them to do it. Maybe give them a discount, maybe give them a special role or a special benefit within Discord. And we're going to incentivize them to give us good feedback, and they probably will do it for free anyway, considering they've been with you for, a long time, and they love you. You know what I mean? That's why they're there for so long. And we want to ask them, what do they do within the product differently to everyone else to have gotten that much value that they wanted to stay for that long of a time? Okay, so we want to find out how these people are getting more value from the products than the average customer. And then what we want to do is we want to teach that to new customers when new customers sign up. And long term, this is going to have an awesome effect on your onboarding. So we find out the data of which features of the product those people use most and what ways they got the most value. And then we teach that to new customers. You can either do this in email journeys, email automations, or you can do it in group onboarding calls where, every day you're going to want to get someone to do this for you, because it's not scalable for you to be doing this every day. I mean, if you're a smaller creator and you may be doing 5K a month, it could be good to do this if you do have churn problems. But group onboarding is really a last resort. You want to do the onboarding email automations first and see what impact that has, because it's a lot more scalable. But yeah, the second one is group onboarding calls is sort of the second priority. So 1, 2, and then if this still isn't working, and a lot of SaaS companies do this. If you don't know what that is, that's like the software companies. Okay, so your ClickFunnels, your GHL. I just had an onboarding call one-on-one with the owner of a GHL program, and it was awesome, and it did a really good job of teaching me how to use the product in the best way. So number 3 is 1-to-1 onboarding calls. Now, really, you're not going to want to do this for products that are $100 a month, okay? But that's your last resort, really. The first step is doing that research and finding out which customers, or your top 2% of customers, what are they doing differently to have ended up like staying with you for that long. So I'm going to show you some examples of our onboarding emails and what they aim to achieve and how you should do them. So let's take a look at Dodgy's onboarding emails, which right now we have them in ClickFunnels. We used to have them in, let's do my favorite onboarding journeys that I've done was when I was trying to solve churn for Andrew NFX, who is the guy who had 80% monthly churn that we parted ways with. And I'm going to show you the way that I did those onboarding emails because I think it's most in line with the way that I'm currently thinking. So it should be this. Yeah. So the first one is going to be sort of that personal connection where you say like it actually means a lot to you and you acknowledge that they've taken a big step and you appreciate it, and you're going to acknowledge the significance of what they can achieve through your product. And then you're going to teach them in order of actual value. You're going to teach them in order of actual value which parts of your products to use. At first, like live trading is probably going to be the most valuable thing, and it's probably going to produce the most loyalty, and it's going to be the highest recurring value part of your products. So we try to teach and we try to incentivize people to show up to live trading first. We tell them the date, the time, which channel it's in, and the benefits of doing it. They can ask questions and where it is. You see what I mean? Next, which I believe was the best way to... Another thing that this does actually is increases free trial conversion rates, because you're sending this in the first 7 days of someone signing up. And so what that's going to do is it's going to up product usage in the first 7 days for people, and they're going to see a lot more value within their free trial, and they are going to be more likely to stay. So I wanted those free trial members to nurture themselves in the course, and I wanted to boost free trial conversion rate. Unfortunately, this is hard to have a short-term impact with, because it is quite a longer-term thing. You're not going to impact your current customer base, only really the next few batches of customers you get, maybe across the next 3 months. Okay, but this is your most leveraged solution. So we incentivize them going to the course, sent them the link, told them how to find it, and then the next valuable feature. Just teach one by one all the features. You might want to include good testimonials in this to increase their perceived likelihood of achievement. because we want to keep in mind, not only when trying to sell people on joining, we want to keep in mind the value equation when marketing, but we also want to keep in mind the value equation when onboarding and making that first impression on customers when they first buy, because it reinforces the decision and makes them feel good about the money they spent, which will have a long-term impact on their LTV as a customer. And so if you don't know what the value equation is, it's dream outcome times by perceived likelihood of achievement divided by time delay times effort and sacrifice. So we want to increase perceived likelihood of achievement around their dream outcome, and we want to remove the time delay and remove the effort and sacrifice. We want to make it as easy as possible for them to achieve their dream outcome in as little time as possible, and in their mind, give them the highest perceived likelihood of achievement of achieving their dream outcome. Okay? And we want to reinforce this after they buy. So let me carry on with showing you the onboarding email. So that's the first one, is kind of an overview of what they now have access to, and reinforcing that it was the right decision. Okay? Now this second email, what I've done here is I have you showed up to my live trading yet? And I wanted to remind them again about when it is inside my Discord at the top. Come trade with me. And so this one is just a reminder. And I also replied to this. I wanted to boost deliverability and engagement of these emails. I have no statistics on that on this software, but on something like, the more advanced ones, you will. Now, this one here is my favorite one. What I did here is I put a timer on it. I did the little "you're invited." Let's look at the stats. 61% open rate. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant subject line. And your subject line has to be congruent with the content of the email as well. So what I did is I timed this email with, on the days that he live trades, I timed it with 15 minutes before he starts live trading, to send them the email on those days and remind them, I'm about to start live trading, join up and trade with me. All you got to do is head to this channel. I'll be in there for a few hours thinking out loud and answering questions. And it really just has to be simple, because you want people to actually read this, take in the information. If they open it and they're fucking bombarded with paragraphs and paragraphs of words, they're going to get overwhelmed, and they're going to be like, it's going to be harder for them to actually digest the information inside it. So with marketing emails, really you want to maximize on how much you can get across in that email, because you are fighting very hard for their attention at that stage. But now we just want to get the message across and make sure we're getting the behavior out of them that we want to increase LTV and give them more value. So by now you have a good understanding of the onboarding email journeys. Now in group onboarding calls, you're just going to want to do a presentation of how to get the most value out of the product for maybe 20 minutes, maybe 15, maybe 10 minutes. And then after that, go into a Q&A and answer any questions that new customers have about how to use the product. And then one-on-one would be the same, just one-on-one. And so this is there's one lever you can pull to increase revenue, which is get more customers. And the second lever you can pull to increase revenue is make the customers buy more times. Okay, now most people neglect this. They neglect making customers buy more times. Okay, and so if you're serious about your transition from being a trader to an entrepreneur, it's important that you learn everything about business and you apply these more advanced, maybe even boring concepts, to be honest, but this works and it will have a massive impact on your business. So thank you for watching. And if you're interested in stealing all of our systems for $99 a month, there's a link in the description to get access to everything, steal it all. And you can click a button and have the pre-built funnels and email automations spawn in on your screen for you to plug into your business on the same day.